The story of the paralysed man was the first story that came to my mind from what I what I had on my heart to speak about. And those of you who know a little about our daughter Nina will know that the para bit has become very common in our conversation between her and us in the last 18 months, since Nina was diagnosed with MS, not being one to miss an opportunity. She worked very hard to be accepted as a para snowboarder and is currently, even as we speak, in France on training with a group of para snowboarders. And Nina is in many ways quite the opposite of the paralysed man in the story. The man in the story had been 38 years sitting, lying by the pool. We don't know how he got there every day, but he was there. And he told himself, whether this was really why he was there, he told himself that when the pool stirred, one of these days he'd be first in the water and he'd be able to walk properly. Maybe that was what he hoped for in the beginning. But after 38 years, he might feel that it would be asking too much of him to actually walk in the way other people did. But Jesus noticed him, and Jesus asked, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," he replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool." 38 years he had been there, and no one had helped him. For whatever reason, we know nothing about his background, except that no one had helped him. Elijah travelled as he was told to, and met a widow. He wanted a drink of water and something to eat. The widow offered him water and then pointed out she had only enough flour to make a meal for her and her son. And after that, that was it, the end for them. But what she had, she shared with him. And there was more. The man who was in the third story had some good friends. They'd heard about Jesus and the way he could heal, and they were determined that their friend should have a chance to be healed. They went to a lot of trouble to fit him up on a mat that they could carry him on. And when they got to the house where Jesus was, would anybody make way to let them in? No, they wouldn't. But they weren't put off They had the idea because it was one of the houses with steps up to the roof so that you could go up there for whatever, to store things in good weather. We don't really know, but they went up there and removed what was necessary and lowered the man down at Jesus' feet. And Jesus healed him. We've had ourselves quite an interesting winter and spring. Nina was out snowboarding and she entered some races which brought her to the notice of people who organise the parasports, and they advised her, because she did well in several races, they advised her that she should carry on through the winter, and she did, off her own bat, as they say, off her own board. And she drove herself. She passed her driving test in September, and she spent from December to beginning of April driving herself to various other countries on her own to take part in races. And on the way, she met some people who were incredibly helpful. She made friends with some snowboarders from the Netherlands. And after the first race she met them at, they said, "Oh, you come and stay in our apartment with us. You won't need to pay for your living then." So she did. This summer, she went over to the Netherlands to help with an event at an indoor snow dome. And on the way she hired a car, and 5 minutes away from the end of the day, she went into a small dip and her tyre burst. She had her phone, of course, so she rang her friends who'd left 5 minutes from her, before her, and they turned round and came back and roped in the father of one of them, who came and did something about her tyre, and they took her along with them, and she slept at one of their houses that night. How wonderful. How many people would have done that? How many would have bothered? Little acts of kindness have been very much in my mind. Not necessarily enormous things like she seems to attract. On last Saturday, a week ago, I went with Nina to a somewhat mysterious event at Milton Keynes Snowdome. We weren't really sure why we were going. She'd been advised by somebody who did some training, a snowboard trainer from Scotland, who's involved with para-snowboarders. He'd advised her that it would be a good thing to go. And I thought it would probably be a good thing for me to go to drive back, because after 2 hours or more of snowboarding, I know she'd be very tired. So we both went, not knowing what we were going there for. It really took me until the event was pretty well over to realise what it was. I and what turned out to be a number of other parents sat so that we could see what was happening, which was just the usual that's happening in a snow dome. People go slowly up a drag lift, come very quickly down and then go up again for 2 hours or more. But what really got me was that there were several families there, or a father and a family, and there were others, but they were the ones near me. And one family, the man kept turning around and saying, "Can you see? Are you sure?" It took me some time to realise he was anything to do with what Nina was doing. And another man came when his son came off the slope a bit earlier than the others. He came and sat at the table I was at, possibly because most of the others were full, and he engaged me in conversation. And by the time we'd sat and waited for Nina to have her appraisal, which was the last, for a number of reasons. Nina's always the last out from anything. I realised that this was a kind of family event, that people had come from all over the country. The man who sat at my table came from Yorkshire with his son to do this event. And they had a trainer there who was recording their best run and fed back afterwards. But I had, without any effort on my part, not enough effort on my part, become part of this group. I wasn't just one person sitting watching. Several little acts of kindness had put me as part of what was happening there. And for somebody who's not really done anything much except be part of church for the last 2 years, because we stopped helping with one can because it moved and so on, it was quite a lovely feeling to be part of something. I have a friend who works at part-time at a local-ish school, and it just so happens that area, which seems, I'm not quite sure, her son goes to one school, she works at another, and it struck me, I'm not sure which school she was talking about. But they have had, over the last 3 months or so, 5 families from Ukraine who have been placed with people in that area. And the children have started coming to school. And Laura was telling us how people were rallying round with clothes and playthings. And one of the things that she mentioned was how important it was for those people still to be able to speak to each other in their own language and remember where they had come from, who they were. And the way she put it was very moving. We read about, maybe you have that. In Priors Hill, we don't have much contact with even the people we live next door with, apart from the man below us who has now taken down his house in its entirety, and we're waiting for it to be rebuilt. But I often feel, there's nothing much that I do that changes anything for anyone. And I'd like to finish by reading a piece out of a Wild Goose book. It's entitled The Red Scooter. The shiny red mobility scooter was the first thing to grab our attention. The second was the generous smile of the driver as he glided slowly into the queue for the restaurant. Judith exclaimed, "Now that's a well-polished, glistening red scooter. I've never seen one so beautiful." "Don't you love it?" said the man whose name was Don. "I can't walk anymore. I can't drive anymore. But I finally have my childhood dream. I'm in my 80s and I finally have a red scooter." He glowed with gusto, glistened with gratitude. Susie, Don's wife, came into the line and we were pleasingly seated together, two couples who had never met but shared life stories and struggles. At one point in the conversation, I turned to Don and said, "I want you to know that from the first moment we met this evening, I was grateful and pleased. I think you're a new mentor for me. I believe the biggest spiritual challenge for those of us who are aging is how we cope with losses. They keep coming faster and hitting more deeply. If it's not some part of our body failing, it's that someone dear is lost by death or distance. We begin to lose the activities that gave our lives richness. All the losses we encounter are a challenge. From the instant you came up to us, you communicated your losses and your continued vitality, guts, resilience, hope, good humour, and lust for life. You witnessed gratitude and joy. For that, I'm very grateful." Don appeared a little stunned. Then he smiled and said a quiet, "Thank you. I have a new friend, a new mentor. He drives a red scooter." It's the little things that we can do. We have somebody at church who always leaves straight after church, and I make it my business to scoot after her. No, that's not the right thing, to rush after her, and make sure that I say bye to her. She's going for a bus, apparently, which in this day and age comes once an hour or even less, and she doesn't want to miss it. But she's almost always there. And it means a lot of difference to me that I manage to say, "See you next week." I hope it makes a little bit of difference to her. We may not be able to do the big things, but we can do the little ones. And listening to what people have to say and helping in the little ways we can, we may never know how much difference it makes. Jesus makes a difference to people. For some, it's a big thing, like curing them. For others, it's making them feel that they're worth talking to. And that's something we can all do. Amen.